Today's episode dives deep into 10 painful but powerful lessons from Stoic philosophy that will teach you how to build and maintain mental toughness in the face of life's challenges. Life can throw a lot at us: setbacks, failures, and unexpected obstacles. But the Stoics believed that how we respond to these challenges is what truly defines us. In this episode, we'll explore 10 Stoic lessons that will help you not only endure adversity, but grow stronger because of it. From mastering your perspective to practicing detachment, each lesson is designed to give you practical tools to stay mentally strong no matter what life throws your way. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who could use a little extra resilience today. Your support helps us continue sharing these valuable insights from Stoicism and personal growth. Let's get started with the first lesson: mastering your perspective. In the journey to maintain mental toughness, mastering your perspective is the first and perhaps most crucial step. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, emphasized the importance of controlling how we interpret and respond to external events. This mastery over one's perspective is not about denying reality, but about acknowledging that our perception of events is within our control, even when the events themselves are not. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This profound insight highlights that our emotional responses and mental resilience are not shaped by the events around us, but by how we choose to perceive and interpret those events. It's a shift in mindset, from being reactive to becoming proactive in how we deal with life's challenges. At the heart of mastering your perspective is self-awareness. The first step is to recognize when negative or unproductive thought patterns are taking over. These patterns can often cloud judgment and intensify emotional reactions. For example, you may interpret a difficult situation at work as a failure or personal attack, when in reality, it is simply a learning opportunity. Self-awareness helps you catch these misinterpretations before they spiral out of control. Once you become aware of these negative thought loops, the next step is to reframe them. This practice is known as cognitive reframing, and it involves deliberately shifting your perspective to see the situation from a more balanced and rational viewpoint. For instance, instead of thinking, "I'm terrible at this, I'll never succeed," reframe it to, "I didn't succeed this time, but I've learned valuable lessons that will help me improve." By reframing your thoughts, you train your mind to focus on growth and resilience rather than defeat. To solidify this shift in perspective, the practice of mindfulness becomes a powerful tool. Mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. It teaches you to be present, acknowledging your feelings without judgment. When you're mindful, you recognize that emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness are temporary, and you don't let them dictate your actions. This awareness creates mental space, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. A practical approach to mastering your perspective is to engage in daily mindfulness exercises. Set aside just a few minutes each day to sit quietly, focusing on your breath and observing any thoughts or emotions that arise. As you practice this regularly, you'll find that it becomes easier to notice when your mind is slipping into negative thought patterns, and you'll develop the strength to shift your perspective towards something more constructive. Lastly, surrounding yourself with positive influences, whether it's supportive friends, mentors, or the wisdom of great thinkers, helps reinforce a constructive mindset. The people you surround yourself with can significantly shape your outlook. Seek out those who encourage growth and resilience, as their presence can serve as a constant reminder to maintain a balanced and empowering perspective. In summary, mastering your perspective is about taking control of your thoughts and interpretations of the world around you. Through self-awareness, cognitive reframing, mindfulness, and the support of positive influences, you can cultivate the resilience needed to face life's challenges with strength and clarity. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. 2. Accept what you cannot change. One of the most foundational lessons in Stoicism is the understanding that many things in life are beyond our control, and mental toughness comes from accepting this reality. Acceptance does not mean resignation or passivity, but rather it is about recognizing the limits of our influence and directing our energy toward what we can change, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Epictetus, a central figure in Stoic philosophy, taught this essential principle. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. This statement is at the core of maintaining mental toughness. By accepting what you cannot change, you free yourself from the frustration, anxiety, and helplessness that often accompany uncontrollable situations. In our daily lives, we are frequently confronted with circumstances that are beyond our control, whether it's other people's actions, natural events, or the passage of time. These are often the sources of our greatest stress and emotional turbulence. Imagine being stuck in traffic, for example. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you respond to it. Instead of becoming angry or frustrated, you can choose to use that time productively, perhaps by listening to an audiobook or practicing mindfulness. By shifting your focus from the things outside your control to the things within your control, you regain a sense of peace and power. The Stoics understood that accepting what you cannot change is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of wisdom and strength. Seneca wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the unwilling." This powerful quote reminds us that resisting reality only causes suffering, whereas accepting it allows us to flow with life rather than against it. When you accept that some things are simply beyond your influence, you can conserve your mental and emotional energy for what truly matters, improving yourself and taking purposeful action where you can make a difference. A practical approach to acceptance involves practicing radical acceptance, a concept often used in modern psychology. Radical acceptance means fully acknowledging the reality of a situation without judgment. Instead of wishing things were different or fighting against the truth, you accept it for what it is. For instance, if you experience a setback in your career, instead of ruminating on the unfairness of the situation or blaming yourself excessively, you can practice radical acceptance by acknowledging what has happened and then focusing on what you can do next. This practice reduces emotional resistance and helps you move forward with clarity and purpose. Another helpful practice in cultivating acceptance is to reflect on the transience of life. The Stoics frequently contemplated the impermanence of all things as a way to build resilience and diminish the fear of loss. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This perspective helps us realize that life is fleeting, and many of the things we worry about are temporary. By accepting that change, loss, and uncertainty are inevitable parts of life, we can let go of the need to control every outcome and instead focus on living fully in the present moment. An essential part of acceptance is also practicing self-compassion. When faced with difficult circumstances, it's easy to be hard on yourself for not being able to change the situation or for feeling frustrated by it. However, accepting what you cannot change also involves accepting your emotional responses to these situations. It's normal to feel disappointed, sad, or frustrated when things don't go as planned, and recognizing and honoring those emotions is part of the process. Instead of berating yourself for not being perfect, offer yourself the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend in a similar situation. To fully integrate this lesson into your life, start by identifying the areas where you often feel frustrated or helpless. Ask yourself, is this something within my control, or is it beyond my influence? If it's something you cannot change, practice letting go of the desire to control it and redirect your focus to what you can influence, whether it's your mindset, your actions, or your emotions. In conclusion, accepting what you cannot change is about embracing the reality of life's unpredictability and focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and responses. By practicing radical acceptance and reflecting on the impermanence of life, you cultivate mental toughness and free yourself from the stress of resisting reality. As the Stoics remind us, true strength comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling ourselves in the face of whatever life brings. 3. Embrace the now. One of the most powerful Stoic lessons for maintaining mental toughness is the ability to fully embrace the present moment. In a world that often pulls us toward worries about the future or regrets about the past, learning to stay grounded in the present is a cornerstone of emotional resilience. By focusing on the here and now, you harness your mental energy and clarity, freeing yourself from the unnecessary stress that arises when your mind wanders into territories you cannot control. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." This simple yet profound advice captures the essence of mental toughness, recognizing that the present moment is all you truly have. By embracing the now, you stop allowing the past to haunt you or the future to paralyze you. Instead, you channel your focus into what is happening right now, which is the only time you can act, respond, or improve. Why is embracing the present so important for mental toughness? One of the main reasons is that anxiety and fear are almost always tied to concerns about the future. What might happen, what could go wrong, or what outcomes you can't predict. Similarly, guilt, regret, and sadness are often linked to the past, dwelling on things that have already happened and cannot be changed. The Stoics taught that neither the past nor the future is within our control. The only thing we have power over is the present moment and how we choose to engage with it. When you embrace the present, you cultivate mindfulness, the ability to observe your thoughts and emotions as they arise without becoming overwhelmed by them. Mindfulness is key to mental toughness because it allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It gives you the space to pause, assess the situation, and choose the best course of action rather than being swept away by your immediate emotional reactions. Imagine you're facing a stressful situation. Perhaps you're dealing with a conflict at work or managing a heavy workload. Your first instinct might be to worry about how things will play out in the future or to regret decisions that led you to this point. But by embracing the now, you can shift your focus to what you can do right now to improve the situation. Maybe it's taking a deep breath to center yourself, reaching out to a colleague for help, or simply breaking the task down into smaller, manageable steps. The act of grounding yourself in the present moment helps you move forward with clarity and confidence. The Stoic practice of meditation on the present moment is another powerful way to embrace the now. This involves regularly reminding yourself that this moment is all that matters. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the fleeting nature of time, writing, "Don't let your reflection on the whole sweep of life crush you. Don't fill your mind with all the bad things that might still happen. Stay focused on the present situation and ask yourself why it's so unbearable and can't be survived." This Stoic practice of simplifying your thoughts to focus only on the present helps reduce overwhelm and sharpens your ability to handle challenges as they arise. One of the benefits of embracing the present is that it fosters contentment and gratitude. When you're not constantly chasing future goals or lamenting past mistakes, you can appreciate what is in front of you. Practicing gratitude for the present moment, no matter how small the blessings, builds emotional resilience. The Stoics encouraged this practice because it helps shift your perspective from lack or loss to abundance. Even in difficult times, there is always something to be grateful for, whether it's the lessons you're learning, the support of loved ones, or simply the opportunity to grow stronger through adversity. Let's take a practical example. Imagine you're going through a rough patch in your personal life. It's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts about what went wrong in the past, or fears about what the future holds. But by embracing the now, you bring your focus back to today. What can you do today to improve your well-being? It might be something small, like taking a walk, practicing mindfulness, or reaching out to a friend. These actions, rooted in the present, not only improve your emotional state, but also help you regain a sense of control over your life. Another practice that helps you embrace the now is breathwork. Focusing on your breath is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to anchor yourself in the present moment. When you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or distracted, taking a few deep, mindful breaths brings your attention back to the here and now. It helps calm your nervous system and allows you to approach the situation with a clearer mind. The Stoics understood the power of the breath in controlling the mind and emotions, often using breathing exercises to remain calm and centered in the face of adversity. Embracing the present also involves letting go of the need for certainty about the future. The Stoics taught that life is unpredictable, and trying to control every outcome is a futile endeavor. Instead of fixating on what might happen, focus on what you can do now to influence the future in a positive way. By staying present and taking purposeful action in the moment, you set yourself up for success while remaining detached from the anxiety that often accompanies uncertainty. In conclusion, embracing the now is a powerful Stoic practice that cultivates mental toughness by grounding you in the present moment. By letting go of worries about the future and regrets about the past, you free yourself to fully engage with the opportunities and challenges in front of you. Through mindfulness, breathwork, and gratitude, you can build the resilience needed to navigate life's uncertainties with strength and clarity. As the Stoics remind us, the present is the only time we truly have, and it is here, in the now, where we find our greatest power. 4. Cultivate humility and empathy. Humility and empathy are two virtues that play a crucial role in maintaining mental toughness. While they may not seem like the most obvious traits for resilience, they provide the foundation for handling life's challenges with grace and wisdom. The Stoics understood that humility keeps us grounded, while empathy connects us to others, allowing us to navigate adversity with a balanced mind and a compassionate heart. Let's begin with humility. One of the greatest misconceptions about mental toughness is that it requires an unshakable sense of pride or self-reliance. In reality, humility is what allows us to maintain perspective and avoid the pitfalls of arrogance or overconfidence. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, emphasized the importance of remembering our place in the larger order of the universe. In his meditations, he wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This reflection reminds us that we are but a small part of something much greater, and that keeping a humble perspective allows us to see the bigger picture. Humility is essential for mental toughness because it encourages us to approach life with openness and a willingness to learn. When we're humble, we recognize that we don't have all the answers and that we will inevitably make mistakes. This openness allows us to adapt to new circumstances and learn from our failures without letting pride get in the way. It's this adaptability and willingness to grow that fosters resilience. Instead of being rigid and defensive, a humble mindset allows you to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, knowing that there is always room for improvement. In a practical sense, cultivating humility means acknowledging your limitations and asking for help when needed. Too often we equate toughness with handling everything on our own, but the Stoics remind us that true strength comes from recognizing when we need support. Asking for help, whether from a mentor, friend, or colleague, is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of wisdom. It shows that you are committed to learning and growing, and that you value the input of others. Now let's turn to empathy. While humility helps us remain grounded, empathy allows us to connect with others and build meaningful relationships. The Stoics believed in the importance of empathy as a means of understanding and relating to the human condition. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This reflection encourages us to recognize that we are all flawed, and that by practicing empathy, we can better navigate interpersonal challenges. Empathy is key to mental toughness because it allows us to approach difficult situations with compassion rather than anger or frustration. When faced with adversity, it's easy to become defensive or lash out at others, but empathy helps us see the situation from their perspective. This shift in perspective not only de-escalates conflict, but also strengthens our relationships, creating a support network that bolsters our resilience. A practical way to cultivate empathy is to actively listen during conversations, especially in moments of conflict or misunderstanding. Often, when we are stressed or upset, we listen to respond rather than to understand. However, by making a conscious effort to truly hear the other person's point of view, we develop greater emotional awareness and insight into their experience. This practice not only improves communication, but also fosters a deeper sense of connection and trust, which is crucial for building mental toughness. Empathy also helps us develop patience. In the heat of challenging situations, whether at work or in personal relationships, it's easy to become impatient or frustrated, but empathy allows us to slow down and remember that everyone is going through their own struggles. By giving others the benefit of the doubt and showing compassion, we reduce our emotional volatility and approach problems with a calmer, more level-headed mindset. This patience is an essential part of maintaining mental toughness, as it prevents us from reacting impulsively and allows us to respond thoughtfully. In the broader context of life, empathy helps us navigate hardship by connecting us to the shared human experience. We all face difficulties, loss, and pain at different points in our lives. By recognizing this commonality, we build a sense of solidarity with others, which strengthens our resolve. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a greater whole, and this sense of unity helps us find meaning and purpose in the midst of suffering. Seneca wrote, "We are waves of the same sea, leaves of the same tree, flowers of the same garden. This perspective reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles, and that by supporting one another, we can endure even the most challenging times. Finally, both humility and empathy teach us the importance of forgiveness, both toward ourselves and others. Mental toughness is not about holding on to grudges or being unforgiving. Rather, it's about letting go of resentment and moving forward with clarity and purpose. Humility reminds us that we too are imperfect and will make mistakes, while empathy helps us understand the reasons behind others' actions. Together, these virtues encourage forgiveness, which frees us from emotional burdens and helps us maintain peace of mind. In conclusion, cultivating humility and empathy is essential for maintaining mental toughness. Humility keeps us grounded, open to learning and aware of our limitations, while empathy connects us to others and fosters compassion and patience. By practicing these virtues, we strengthen our emotional resilience and build the capacity to navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. As the Stoics remind us, mental toughness is not about isolation or pride, but about recognizing our shared humanity and approaching life with humility and compassion. 5. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful practice that plays a central role in developing mental toughness. While it might seem counterintuitive to think of gratitude as a component of resilience, the Stoics believed that cultivating gratitude strengthens the mind by shifting focus from what is lacking to what is already present and valuable. By practicing gratitude, you build emotional resilience and foster a mindset that finds strength even in adversity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us of the importance of gratitude in the face of challenges. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. This reflection on gratitude is not about denying difficulties, but about acknowledging the good that exists in your life, despite them. Practicing gratitude shifts your perspective, allowing you to recognize the positive aspects of your situation, no matter how small, which bolsters your mental toughness in the face of challenges. Gratitude plays a key role in mental reframing, a concept central to Stoicism. When you encounter difficulties, it's easy to focus on what's going wrong or what's missing. However, by practicing gratitude, you train your mind to focus on the blessings and opportunities within your reach. This shift in focus not only improves your mood, but also helps you approach problems with a clearer, more solution-oriented mindset. For instance, if you've experienced a setback at work, practicing gratitude for the skills you've developed, the lessons learned, or the support from colleagues helps you maintain perspective and emotional balance. A practical way to cultivate gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you're grateful for. These can be as simple as appreciating a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a kind word from a friend, or the opportunity to learn something new. This daily practice rewires your brain to focus on the positive, even in difficult times, and helps you build a habit of finding value in the present moment. Over time, you'll notice that your mind naturally begins to look for the good in every situation, making you more resilient in the face of challenges. Another aspect of gratitude is recognizing the impermanence of life, a theme the Stoics often reflected on. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." This reflection helps us appreciate the present moment and the gifts we already have. By recognizing that nothing in life is guaranteed and that everything is fleeting, we become more grateful for the experiences, relationships, and opportunities we currently enjoy. This gratitude fosters mental strength by reminding us to live fully in the present and not take anything for granted. Gratitude also plays a critical role in developing emotional resilience. When faced with hardship, it's natural to feel overwhelmed by negative emotions. However, gratitude acts as an emotional anchor, helping you stay grounded and centered. By focusing on what you're grateful for, you create a buffer against the emotional toll of adversity. This practice doesn't eliminate pain or struggle, but it provides perspective, allowing you to see that even in the darkest moments, there is something to hold on to. This is why gratitude is often linked to increased well-being and lower levels of depression and anxiety. Consider a personal challenge. Perhaps you're going through a difficult time in a relationship or dealing with a health issue. While it's important to acknowledge and process the emotions tied to these experiences, practicing gratitude can help you find emotional balance. For example, you might be grateful for the support of friends, the lessons you're learning about yourself, or the strength you're developing in the process. This mindset doesn't deny the difficulty of the situation, but helps you navigate it with a clearer perspective and a greater sense of inner strength. The Stoics also encouraged gratitude for adversity itself. This is a more advanced practice, but one that builds exceptional mental toughness. The Stoics believed that challenges and obstacles are opportunities for growth, and thus they are worthy of gratitude. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." By reframing adversity as a necessary part of personal development, you cultivate a mindset that sees obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities for improvement. This mental reframing allows you to approach challenges with greater resilience and optimism. A practical way to integrate this concept is to practice reframing difficulties in your gratitude journal. When you encounter a difficult situation, take a moment to reflect on what you can be grateful for in that experience. Maybe it's the lesson you're learning, the resilience you're building, or the opportunity to grow stronger. By finding something to be grateful for in every challenge, you train your mind to see adversity in a more constructive light, which strengthens your mental toughness over time. Another way gratitude builds resilience is by fostering a sense of abundance. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you cultivate a mindset of abundance, which helps reduce feelings of fear and scarcity. This mindset is essential for mental toughness because it prevents you from falling into the trap of constant dissatisfaction. By appreciating what you already have, you feel more secure, content, and capable of handling whatever challenges come your way. In conclusion, practicing gratitude is an essential component of mental toughness. By shifting your focus from what is lacking to what is present, you build emotional resilience, reframe adversity as an opportunity for growth, and cultivate a sense of abundance. Whether through daily journaling or reflecting on the impermanence of life, gratitude helps you navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and strength. As the Stoics teach us, finding something to be grateful for, even in difficult times, opens the door to inner peace and mental fortitude. 6. Transform challenges into opportunities. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoic philosophy is the ability to transform challenges into opportunities. Mental toughness is not about avoiding difficulties, but about learning to embrace them as catalysts for growth. The Stoics believed that every obstacle we face presents a chance to develop our character, strengthen our resolve, and sharpen our skills. By changing our mindset toward adversity, we can turn what initially appears to be a setback into a stepping stone towards success. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This Stoic principle is at the core of mental toughness. The very thing that seems to block your path can become the path itself. Instead of viewing challenges as insurmountable obstacles, the Stoics teach us to see them as opportunities for learning and self-improvement. This shift in perspective transforms how we approach adversity, making us more resilient and adaptable. The key to transforming challenges into opportunities is reframing your mindset. When faced with a difficult situation, it's natural to feel frustrated, overwhelmed, or even defeated. However, mental toughness is developed when you train your mind to ask, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I grow from this experience?" This question shifts your focus from the problem to the potential solution or lesson embedded within the challenge. By adopting this mindset, you move from being a victim of circumstance to an active participant in your own growth. Consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work, despite putting in significant effort. It's easy to feel discouraged or resentful, but the Stoic approach would be to view this as an opportunity to assess your performance, seek feedback, and refine your skills. Maybe there's a gap in your knowledge or a behavior you can improve. Instead of seeing the rejection as a failure, you see it as valuable feedback that will help you perform better in the future. This mindset allows you to transform the setback into a stepping stone for future success. Another way to cultivate this mindset is by practicing voluntary discomfort, a Stoic exercise designed to prepare you for challenges by deliberately putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This practice of experiencing discomfort on purpose, whether by fasting, taking cold showers, or simplifying your lifestyle, trains your mind to handle hardship with grace. By facing small challenges regularly, you develop the mental toughness needed to transform larger challenges into opportunities when they arise. This concept of turning challenges into opportunities also ties into self-discipline. The Stoics believed that self-discipline is the foundation of personal growth. By learning to endure discomfort, delay gratification, and stay focused on long-term goals, you cultivate the mental strength needed to navigate adversity. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to practice self-discipline and strengthen your resolve. When you view challenges through this lens, they no longer seem like threats to your well-being, but rather chances to prove your inner strength. Take the example of physical fitness. Many people struggle to maintain an exercise routine because it's uncomfortable and requires discipline. But those who view exercise as an opportunity to build physical and mental resilience are more likely to stick with it. Each workout becomes a test of endurance and an opportunity to push beyond perceived limits. Over time, what once felt like a challenge becomes a source of strength. This same principle applies to any area of life where growth requires sustained effort and discipline. The Stoics also encouraged us to detach from the outcome and focus on the process. Often challenges feel overwhelming because we are fixated on a specific result. We want things to turn out a certain way, and when they don't, we feel disappointed or frustrated. However, by focusing on the process, on what we can control in the present moment, we become more resilient to setbacks. This mindset shift allows us to see challenges as part of the journey rather than as roadblocks. As Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." By concentrating on what we can control, we become less attached to the outcome and more focused on what we can learn and how we can grow along the way. In addition to reframing and practicing discipline, another key to transforming challenges into opportunities is building emotional resilience. Life is full of unexpected events, some good, some bad. Mental toughness comes from being able to adapt to these changes without being emotionally derailed. The Stoics taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. When you face a difficult situation, ask yourself, how can I respond to this in a way that aligns with my values and strengthens my character? This question helps you shift your focus from the external challenge to your internal response, empowering you to act with integrity and resilience. A practical way to build emotional resilience is to reflect on past challenges and how you've overcome them. By recalling times when you faced adversity and came out stronger, you remind yourself that you have the capacity to endure and grow. This reflection builds confidence in your ability to handle future challenges and reinforces the belief that every difficulty carries the potential for growth. Finally, it's important to remember that every challenge contains a hidden opportunity, even if it's not immediately obvious. Sometimes the opportunity may be as simple as learning patience or practicing self-compassion. Other times, it may lead to a breakthrough in personal growth, career advancement, or deeper relationships. The Stoics believed that life's challenges are not random misfortunes, but part of a larger, purposeful design. By viewing adversity through this lens, you cultivate a mindset of optimism and resilience, knowing that every obstacle carries within it the seed of a greater opportunity. In conclusion, transforming challenges into opportunities is a cornerstone of mental toughness. By reframing adversity, practicing self-discipline, and focusing on the process rather than the outcome, you develop the resilience needed to thrive in difficult situations. Every challenge, no matter how daunting, holds the potential for growth, and by embracing this mindset, you turn obstacles into opportunities for success. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." 7. Guided by reason. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the belief that we should always strive to be guided by reason. The Stoics believed that reason is what sets humans apart from other beings, and it is through the application of logic and rational thinking that we can navigate life's challenges with clarity and calmness. Mental toughness in this context comes from the ability to respond to situations thoughtfully rather than impulsively, allowing reason to guide our actions instead of being driven by fleeting emotions or irrational fears. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of being guided by reason, writing, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote highlights the Stoic belief that while we cannot control external circumstances, we always have the ability to control how we respond, and reason is the tool that allows us to make those responses deliberate and wise. To be guided by reason is to pause and reflect before reacting to difficult situations. When we are faced with adversity, our initial emotional reaction might be one of anger, fear, or frustration. However, mental toughness involves taking a step back and allowing reason to dictate our response. The Stoics believed that emotions, while natural, should not rule our decision-making. Instead, they saw emotions as signals to be examined through the lens of reason, asking ourselves, is this reaction justified? What is the most rational course of action in this situation? For example, imagine you're facing a conflict with a colleague at work. Your first emotional response might be frustration or defensiveness. However, being guided by reason means taking a moment to assess the situation objectively. Why did the conflict arise? What can be done to resolve it in a way that aligns with your values and goals? By engaging your rational mind, you gain clarity, avoid escalating the situation, and can work toward a constructive solution. A practical tool the Stoics used to cultivate reason was premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This practice involves mentally preparing yourself for potential difficulties by considering what might go wrong in any given situation and how you would respond rationally. By imagining challenges in advance, you train your mind to stay calm and composed when difficulties arise, as you've already rehearsed how to handle them using logic and reason. This mental preparation builds mental toughness by reducing the emotional impact of unexpected events and ensuring that you respond with thoughtfulness rather than panic. In addition to preparing for challenges, self-reflection is another essential practice for being guided by reason. The Stoics believed in the importance of daily self-examination to ensure that their actions were in line with their values and rational thinking. Marcus Aurelius often reflected in his meditations on how he had handled various situations, asking himself whether he had acted rationally and in accordance with virtue. By regularly reviewing your actions and decisions, you create space to identify where emotions may have clouded your judgment and where you can improve in the future. Reason also helps us see the bigger picture and avoid getting caught up in minor, trivial concerns. The Stoics believed that much of the stress and anxiety we experience comes from placing too much importance on things that, in the grand scheme of life, are insignificant. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This Stoic teaching encourages us to use reason to maintain perspective. When something goes wrong, reason reminds us to ask, will this matter in 5 years? Is this truly worth my emotional energy? By maintaining this broader perspective, we reduce unnecessary stress and build emotional resilience. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're having a bad day at work. A project went off track, a client was upset, and nothing seems to be going your way. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and emotionally reactive. However, if you pause and allow reason to guide your thoughts, you might realize that while today's challenges are frustrating, they are not catastrophic. By reframing the situation with a rational mindset, you prevent yourself from becoming consumed by negative emotions and instead focus on finding solutions to improve the situation. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of rational detachment, the ability to remain emotionally calm and objective even in the face of challenges. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or becoming indifferent, but rather approaching problems with mental clarity. When reason is your guide, you remain open to learning from your emotions without letting them control you. This is particularly important in situations that provoke strong emotional reactions, such as personal conflicts, failures, or unexpected setbacks. In times of difficulty, Stoic reasoning also helps you focus on what you can control. When challenges arise, it's easy to spiral into anxiety about things that are beyond your influence. However, reason reminds us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. This fundamental Stoic teaching allows us to channel our energy into productive action rather than wasting it on things we cannot change. By focusing only on what you can influence, you maintain mental toughness and avoid feeling helpless or overwhelmed. Another way that being guided by reason enhances mental toughness is by fostering emotional balance. Life is full of ups and downs, and reason allows us to remain steady through both successes and failures. The Stoics taught that neither extreme joy nor extreme sorrow should dictate our sense of well-being. Instead, we should strive for equanimity, a state of mental calmness and composure, especially in difficult situations. When we're guided by reason, we don't allow external events to dictate our happiness or inner peace. This balance is what gives us the strength to face adversity with confidence and resilience. Finally, reason allows us to act in accordance with virtue, which the Stoics believed was the highest good. To act virtuously means to make decisions based on wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. When reason guides your actions, you're more likely to act in ways that reflect these virtues, even when it's difficult. This commitment to virtue strengthens your sense of self and builds inner resilience, as you know that you are acting with integrity no matter the circumstances. In conclusion, being guided by reason is a fundamental aspect of mental toughness. By using logic and rational thinking to navigate challenges, you maintain emotional balance, respond thoughtfully, and stay focused on what truly matters. The Stoics teach us that reason is the key to unlocking clarity, resilience, and inner strength, allowing us to face adversity with wisdom and grace. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. 8. Nurture inner tranquility. One of the most profound lessons in Stoicism is the pursuit of inner tranquility, a state of inner peace and calmness that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. For the Stoics, mental toughness was not simply about being strong in the face of adversity, but about cultivating a sense of tranquility that allows you to navigate life's challenges with grace and composure. By nurturing inner tranquility, you build emotional resilience and develop the ability to remain centered even in the midst of chaos. The Stoics believed that inner peace comes from aligning your thoughts and actions with reason and virtue, rather than being swayed by external events. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea when he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This insight reminds us that external circumstances do not have the power to disturb our inner peace unless we allow them to. True mental toughness comes from recognizing that tranquility is an internal state, cultivated by how we choose to perceive and respond to the world around us. One of the key practices for nurturing inner tranquility is learning to detach from the need for external validation or outcomes. The Stoics taught that much of our inner turmoil comes from placing too much value on things outside our control, whether it's the approval of others, material success, or specific outcomes. By releasing attachment to these external factors, we free ourselves from the anxiety and stress they often bring. As Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This Stoic teaching reminds us that true peace is found not in accumulating more, but in being content with less and focusing on what is truly essential. To cultivate tranquility, it's important to practice acceptance, not just of the things we cannot change, but of life as it unfolds in all its unpredictability. Seneca wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." This quote reflects the Stoic belief that resistance to life's inevitable ups and downs only leads to suffering, while acceptance allows us to remain peaceful and adaptive. By embracing life's uncertainties and trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way, you nurture a deep sense of tranquility that is resilient in the face of adversity. A practical way to nurture inner tranquility is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness involves staying present in the moment and observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. By regularly practicing mindfulness, you train yourself to remain calm and centered, even in stressful situations. When you are mindful, you create a mental space between yourself and your reactions, allowing you to respond to challenges with clarity rather than being overwhelmed by them. This practice helps you cultivate a steady state of mind that is less affected by the emotional highs and lows of everyday life. Let's take a practical example. Imagine you're in the middle of a stressful situation at work, dealing with a tight deadline or a demanding client. Without inner tranquility, it's easy to become anxious, reactive, and overwhelmed by the pressure. However, by practicing mindfulness and taking a few deep breaths, you can center yourself in the present moment and approach the situation with a calm, focused mind. This ability to remain composed in stressful situations not only improves your performance, but also protects your mental and emotional well-being. Another way to nurture inner tranquility is by engaging in regular self-reflection. The Stoics believed that tranquility comes from aligning your actions with your values and staying true to your principles, regardless of external pressures. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on his own actions and decisions, asking himself whether he had acted in accordance with reason and virtue. This daily practice of self-examination helps you stay grounded and ensures that you're not swayed by fleeting emotions or distractions. By regularly reflecting on your thoughts and behaviors, you cultivate a sense of inner peace that comes from living in alignment with your true self. One of the challenges to inner tranquility is the tendency to become emotionally entangled in the opinions and actions of others. The Stoics taught that mental toughness involves emotional detachment from external judgments and criticisms. Marcus Aurelius advised, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but sets less value on his own opinions of himself than on the opinions of others." This reflection encourages us to focus on our own judgment and values, rather than being overly concerned with what others think. When you learn to detach from the need for external approval, you nurture a sense of inner peace that is immune to the ups and downs of social interactions. Gratitude is another powerful practice for nurturing tranquility. The Stoics believed in appreciating the present moment and finding contentment in what you already have. By practicing gratitude, you shift your focus from what is lacking to what is already abundant in your life. This shift in perspective reduces feelings of anxiety and dissatisfaction, replacing them with a sense of peace and fulfillment. By regularly reflecting on the things you're grateful for, you nurture a mindset of tranquility that helps you remain calm and content even in challenging situations. A practical way to incorporate gratitude into your daily life is to start or end each day by reflecting on 3 things you are grateful for. These could be small things, like a pleasant conversation, a good meal, or a moment of quiet reflection. Over time, this practice trains your mind to focus on the positive aspects of your life, which fosters a deeper sense of tranquility and emotional resilience. Finally, the Stoics emphasized the importance of living in harmony with nature. For them, this meant accepting the natural flow of life and understanding that everything in the universe follows a natural order. By aligning yourself with this flow rather than resisting it, you cultivate inner peace. Seneca wrote, We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This quote reminds us that much of our suffering comes from resisting the natural course of events or worrying about things that may never happen. By embracing life's impermanence and trusting in the natural order of things, you nurture a sense of tranquility that is not easily disturbed by external circumstances. In conclusion, nurturing inner tranquility is a vital part of developing mental toughness. By practicing mindfulness, gratitude, acceptance, and emotional detachment, you cultivate a steady and calm state of mind that allows you to navigate life's challenges with clarity and composure. As the Stoics teach, true strength comes not from external achievements or possessions, but from the ability to remain peaceful and centered in the face of adversity. By nurturing this inner tranquility, you build the emotional resilience needed to face life's unpredictability with grace and wisdom. 9. Practice detachment. Detachment is one of the core teachings of Stoicism, and it is a critical practice for maintaining mental toughness. The Stoics believed that many of our emotional struggles come from becoming too attached to external things, whether it's possessions, relationships, outcomes, or even our own ideas of success. By practicing detachment, we learn to let go of the need to control or cling to these things, freeing ourselves from unnecessary suffering and cultivating a greater sense of inner peace. Epictetus taught, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This Stoic wisdom reminds us that while we cannot control external events, we can control our attachment to them. Detachment is not about indifference or apathy. Rather, it is about releasing the emotional hold that external circumstances have over us. When we practice detachment, we become less reactive and more centered, allowing us to respond to life's challenges with clarity and resilience. One of the most important aspects of practicing detachment is learning to let go of outcomes. The Stoics understood that we often place too much importance on achieving specific results, and when those outcomes don't materialize, we feel disappointed, frustrated, or even defeated. However, by focusing on the process rather than the outcome, we free ourselves from the emotional highs and lows tied to external success or failure. As Seneca said, "If you live according to nature, you will never be poor. If you live according to opinion, you will never be rich." This insight encourages us to detach from societal expectations of wealth, status, or success, and to focus instead on living in alignment with our values. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're working toward a significant career goal, such as a promotion or a major project. While it's natural to want a positive outcome, the Stoic approach encourages you to focus on the effort and process, rather than becoming overly attached to the result. Whether or not you achieve the desired outcome, what matters is that you acted with integrity, put in your best effort, and stayed true to your principles. This mindset of detachment from outcomes not only reduces anxiety, but also allows you to maintain emotional balance in the face of success or failure. Another important element of detachment is learning to let go of possessions and the desire for material wealth. The Stoics believed that attachment to possessions leads to a fragile sense of happiness, one that is easily disrupted by loss or change. Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This Stoic teaching encourages us to focus on contentment with what we already have, rather than constantly striving for more. By practicing detachment from material things, we cultivate a sense of independence and resilience, knowing that our well-being does not depend on external wealth. Detachment also plays a significant role in personal relationships. While it's important to form meaningful connections with others, the Stoics taught that we should not become overly attached to people in a way that compromises our inner peace. This doesn't mean avoiding relationships or becoming emotionally distant. Rather, it means recognizing that people, like everything else in life, are impermanent. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This advice teaches us to fully engage in our relationships, but without clinging to the illusion of permanence. By practicing detachment, we can love and appreciate the people in our lives without fearing their loss. Practicing detachment in relationships also involves recognizing that we cannot control others' actions or feelings. Mental toughness comes from accepting that everyone is on their own journey, and their choices and behaviors are outside our control. When you detach from the need to control or change others, you free yourself from the frustration and disappointment that often arise in relationships. Instead of trying to force others to meet your expectations, you allow them the freedom to be themselves while maintaining your own emotional independence. One of the most challenging areas to practice detachment is in our own ego and sense of identity. We often become attached to specific ideas of who we are, our accomplishments, our reputation, or our roles in life. However, the Stoics taught that true mental toughness comes from detaching from these external identities and focusing on our inner character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This teaching encourages us to recognize that our true strength lies in our inner character, not in how others perceive us or in the roles we play. For example, if you're someone who takes great pride in your professional success, it's easy to become overly attached to that identity. But what happens if your career faces a setback, or you're no longer able to perform at the same level? Practicing detachment means understanding that your worth is not tied to your job title or achievements. By letting go of the need for external validation, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience, knowing that your true value comes from within. Another aspect of detachment is learning to accept change and impermanence. The Stoics often reflected on the fleeting nature of life, encouraging us to detach from the idea that anything in life is permanent. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." This reflection on impermanence teaches us to appreciate the present moment without becoming attached to the idea that things will remain the same. By embracing change and letting go of the need for permanence, we develop the mental toughness to adapt to whatever life brings. A practical way to cultivate detachment is through the practice of negative visualization, a Stoic exercise that involves imagining the loss of something or someone you care about. While this might seem morbid, it actually helps you appreciate what you have in the present moment and prepares you for the reality that nothing is guaranteed. By mentally preparing yourself for potential loss, you reduce the shock and emotional distress if that loss eventually occurs. This practice strengthens your ability to navigate life's changes with grace and emotional resilience. In conclusion, practicing detachment is essential for maintaining mental toughness. By letting go of the need to control outcomes, possessions, relationships, or even your own ego, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and cultivate a sense of inner peace. The Stoics teach us that detachment is not about avoiding life's experiences, but about engaging with them fully, without becoming emotionally dependent on external factors. By practicing detachment, you build the resilience needed to navigate life's inevitable changes with strength and clarity. 10. Forge ahead. The final and perhaps most empowering lesson in maintaining mental toughness is the ability to forge ahead, no matter what obstacles or challenges come your way. In Stoicism, resilience is built on the understanding that setbacks, failures, and adversity are inevitable parts of life, but they do not define you. What defines you is your ability to move forward, to keep going despite the difficulties, and to persist in the pursuit of your goals and values. The Stoics often reflected on the concept of perseverance. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This reflection on the gift of life reminds us that no matter how hard things may seem, each new day brings an opportunity to move forward, to make progress, and to forge ahead with renewed strength and purpose. Forging ahead requires a combination of determination, focus, and resilience. It's about having the mindset that no matter what happens, you will not give up. This lesson is especially important when facing long-term goals that require sustained effort over time. Whether it's a career goal, a personal ambition, or a relationship you're working on, the ability to push through difficult moments and stay committed to your path is a key component of mental toughness. One of the most important aspects of forging ahead is learning to embrace failure as part of the process. The Stoics taught that failure is not something to fear or avoid, but something to learn from. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This idea teaches us that the challenges we face, and even the failures we encounter, are opportunities to build mental toughness. When you view failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock, you allow yourself to grow stronger with each setback. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been working on a challenging personal project, like writing a book, training for a marathon, or starting a business. Along the way, you're likely to encounter obstacles, whether it's writer's block, physical exhaustion, or financial setbacks. The Stoic approach to forging ahead encourages you to keep going, even when progress feels slow or the outcome is uncertain. Each day that you push forward, despite the obstacles, you build resilience and strengthen your resolve. The key is to focus on the process, rather than being fixated on immediate results. A practical way to maintain the mindset of forging ahead is to practice breaking down large goals into smaller, manageable tasks. This technique, often used in Stoicism, helps prevent feelings of overwhelm when faced with big challenges. Instead of being intimidated by the size of your goal, focus on what you can do today, whether it's writing one page, running 1 mile, or making one phone call. By taking small, consistent steps, you make progress without becoming discouraged by the bigger picture. Each small victory builds momentum, helping you stay on course and maintain your mental toughness. In addition to perseverance, adaptability is crucial when forging ahead. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable and often things do not go according to plan. However, rather than becoming discouraged, they embraced the idea of adaptation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This teaching encourages us to view obstacles not as reasons to stop, but as opportunities to change direction, learn new skills, or find alternative solutions. By being adaptable, you can continue moving forward, even when your original plan is no longer feasible. Adaptability also means being open to changing your approach when necessary. Mental toughness doesn't mean stubbornly sticking to a plan that's no longer working. It means having the wisdom to recognize when a new strategy is needed. If one path becomes blocked, the Stoics encourage us to find another way forward. This flexibility allows you to stay focused on your larger goals while remaining adaptable in the face of challenges. Another important element of forging ahead is maintaining a sense of purpose. The Stoics believed that a clear sense of purpose gives us the strength to endure hardships and keep moving forward. Epictetus taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This teaching encourages us to define our purpose, whether it's living a life of virtue, contributing to the world in a meaningful way, or achieving personal excellence. By staying connected to your purpose, you create a powerful internal motivation that drives you to keep going, even when things get tough. Purpose also helps you maintain perspective when faced with setbacks. Instead of seeing obstacles as signs of failure, you view them as part of the journey toward achieving your larger purpose. This mindset helps you stay focused on the long-term goal, rather than becoming discouraged by temporary challenges. It reminds you that progress is not always linear, but persistence is what ultimately leads to success. Forging ahead also requires self-compassion. Mental toughness is not about being harsh or punishing yourself for setbacks. It's about giving yourself the grace to make mistakes, learn from them, and continue moving forward. The Stoics emphasize the importance of forgiving yourself when things don't go as planned. Seneca wrote, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." This teaching reminds us that our ability to persevere comes not from perfection, but from our willingness to keep trying, even after failure. By practicing self-compassion, you free yourself from the burden of perfectionism and allow yourself to grow and improve over time. Finally, forging ahead means cultivating hope and optimism. The Stoics believed that even in the darkest moments, there is always the potential for growth and renewal. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the impermanence of life and the cyclical nature of change, writing, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This perspective encourages us to remain hopeful, even when facing adversity. By focusing on the opportunities that lie ahead, rather than dwelling on past difficulties, you maintain the mental strength needed to keep moving forward. In conclusion, forging ahead is the ultimate expression of mental toughness. By embracing failure, adapting to change, staying connected to your purpose, and practicing self-compassion, you build the resilience needed to keep going, no matter what challenges arise. The Stoics teach us that life's obstacles are not meant to stop us, but to shape us into stronger, wiser, and more determined individuals. As you continue on your journey, remember that mental toughness is not about never facing difficulty. It's about rising each time you fall, with the determination to forge ahead and achieve your highest potential. We've journeyed through 10 powerful Stoic lessons on how to build and maintain mental toughness. These lessons remind us that resilience is not just about enduring hardship. It's about transforming our mindset, cultivating inner strength, and approaching life with wisdom and grace. From mastering your perspective and accepting what you cannot change, to practicing detachment and forging ahead in the face of adversity, these lessons provide a roadmap for navigating life's challenges with confidence. Mental toughness is something that grows over time through daily practice and reflection. The Stoics taught us that true strength comes not from avoiding difficulties, but from embracing them as opportunities to grow and develop our character. By integrating these lessons into your life, you'll find that you're better equipped to handle whatever life throws your way with clarity, purpose, and resilience. Thank you for watching. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from these insights. Let's keep growing together, building a community focused on personal development, resilience, and living a life rooted in Stoic wisdom. Remember, mental toughness is not something we're born with. It's something we can all cultivate, one day at a time.